Okay, so welcome to the first Q&A for IYF.finance. We're all really excited for you guys to be here. I'm here with George, the developer. I'm Mr. Beard. I am the community manager. George is our main developer for IYF,
How's
and
everyone doing?
we look forward. We see a lot of questions here that we're very excited to get into. George, you ready?
Of course.
All right. So the first question comes from Itachi, who asked 6,000 tokens were burned today. Is there going to be any more burn of tokens happening? And if yes, what will be the final total supply?
So, as many people know, there was a huge issue with our farming that a lot of people were actually not able to claim the IYF that was in the BPT rewards contract. Now, the reason we only burned 6,000 is the remainder is dedicated to giving back to people that weren't able to claim. Now, we haven't decided whether we're going to reimburse them the 100% of the IYF that they were supposed to be claimed, or just give them a percentage like 50 or 40%. The problem is that a lot of people did not claim the IYF that they farmed. For example, we have one person that farmed over 800 IYF and they did not claim it. So we might just burn these tokens as well because it's your responsibility to make sure your IYF is farmed at the end of the day. So in that case, the total supply would be around 21,600.
Yeah, I believe
After we burned the entire total supply.
we've burned
But we would
6,000.
have
We're
to make a
holding.
community vote first to determine whether we're going to reimburse people or whether we're just going to burn the whole supply.
But to those farmers that did not manage to get out and claim in time, we are collecting public wallet keys and amounts in preparation if we do have to compensate. So, moving on to the next question, Bishop79 asked, "When is the roadmap ready?"
The roadmap's going to be released as soon as the white paper is released, and we're getting very close to releasing the white paper. Bearded Justice just gave me a rough draft today. We just have to input some more information to it because right now it's just a lot of filler info. But as soon as that's ready, the roadmap will definitely be ready as well.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the white paper right now. It looks good. There's just quite a bit of polishing that needs to be done to it. Moving on, Itachi asks, "Is the team doing any kind of marketing to promote the project? Sorry. What is the next big step to be taken by the team in terms of project growth?"
We are not doing any marketing as of now. It's something we're looking into. Obviously, we have the development funds to do it, but as of now, the project is just spreading of word of mouth. And obviously, we recently listed on CoinGecko, so that's helped us quite a bit as well. But we're currently reaching out to centralized exchanges for listing. We're trying to get in the right direction, but we're not spending any money on marketing yet. No.
All right. Cash Dynasty asks, "Please explain what makes this project stand out amongst others."
Well, obviously we're doing the arbitrage, but one thing that we want to do is we're not only going to use the IYF token in the future, we want to make a separate token with maybe a higher supply that people can actually farm without there being consequences, because IYF is the main token and the supply will always be low, but
I think we've lost George's audio there for a second. George, you still with us? All right. Well, until he comes back. At the moment, as far as what makes us stand out from others, is that
I
we.
disconnected for a second. My
Oh,
bad.
there you go. Are you good? You ready to roll forward with that question?
Perfect. Yeah, did I get cut off?
You did.
Yeah, so we're going to be adding in the future. We have a plan to add another token, similar to how Sushi has a large supply. We might be forking Uniswap and make our own token that can be farmed consistently. and be farmed more viably than IYF, because the IYF supply is 22,000. It's not getting any higher and it's not getting any lower unless someone else decides to burn their supply of tokens, which I don't think is ever going to happen.
Fantastic. This next question is one that I get asked often. I've answered it many times, but I'm going to have George answer this one. Rise and Shine asks, I would like to know the difference between IYF and YFRB.
Right now, we're pretty much doing the exact same thing. Now, in the future, we're going to add more different types of yield farming. Like I said, we might fork Uniswap and add yield farming there. But as of now, we are doing the exact same thing as YFRB. And we even reference YFRB in our fact page, comparing ourselves to them and noting that we do pretty much the same as what they're doing. Now, we're trying to implement our arbitrage platform before they do. And we've already implemented farming, and they don't have farming yet, but only time will tell. I definitely like what their team's doing, and I'll cheer them on all the way.
Yeah, innovation comes first, definitely. Next question is from Cash Dynasty. What's the story behind the team, your backgrounds, and how you guys got hooked up? Do you mind if I take that first, George?
Perfect. Go ahead.
As far as my personal experience with IYF and my history, I manage several businesses of my own. One being a real estate business. I also have a small contracting business and I operate a large cleaning business based out of the northern United States in Minnesota. I ran into IYF actually very early in development and met George, and was very interested in the project. I had decided, due to my background, I have a bachelor's degree from the State University in New York in business management, that I think that I would be able to help out in growing this project and growing the community and building IYF into a recognizable brand. I have said many times on Telegram that my goal for this project is eventually to have two average people on the street, having a conversation, to somehow stumble into that conversation into DeFi, and IYF be the key operative word in that conversation. Just like when average people talk about crypto, Bitcoin comes up. We want to be the Bitcoin of DeFi. That's my goal, and that's at least my personal vision for the future of IYF. As far as my history goes, I'm pretty well skilled in community management. I've been doing this for a very long time. But that's about it about me, at least as far as I would like to share at the moment. George?
Routine. I've worked on smaller projects, but this is basically my full-time gig, and I'm dedicating myself to this. I'm not being paid anything, and to deploy the contracts, I basically used my own Ethereum. The money that's in the dev wallet, we're planning on time locking soon. We don't know how long we're going to time lock it, but obviously I plan to use some of it to pay for like audits, pay for marketing. Now, we don't really need marketing because this is a DeFi project and it spreads by word of mouth, and it spreads by the team being consistent and the team being loyal. And that's what we're trying to do here. And we're also trying to make it a community-centered project. So anytime the community has a concern, we're going to address it.
Perfect. Next question is from Rise and Shine. How much annual percentage yield can we expect from arbitrage?
So let's talk about arbitrage. So a lot of people jump on this project and they jump on YFRB and they don't really understand what flash loans are, and they're just investing their money in arbitrage and the concept of arbitrage. But a flash loan is basically borrowing an asset and then you can pay it back before the end of the transaction, and it allows you to basically perform actions and you don't have to use your funds at all. Now, some platforms such as Aave, they have a fee. Now, this is the only fee we're going to be including in the arbitrage platform. We've had an arbitrary number of about 25 IYF to use the platform, and that's just because we don't want people overusing it initially. We're probably going to make the platform free to use if it gains traction and a lot of people actually want to use it. But we're going to be using flash loans from DAI-DX and Aave. And those are the only two platforms we have planned for right now, because they're the only two platforms that have really integrated flash loans well.
Perfect. So, next question is from Leo the Professional. This project has a lot of promising ideas, and we and investors believe in it. But the good project...
To answer the question, arbitrage won't provide a set amount of APY. It does something completely different from farming. It's not a consistent value at all.
You good? Sorry, I jumped the gun on you there, George. All right.
It's all good, man. I had to answer that question because you can't get a set APY from arbitrage, and you can't get a set APY from flash loans, because you can make money in the tunes of thousands of dollars from one transaction, or you can make nothing. It's just, it depends.
Yeah. So the next question is from Leo the Professional. The project has a lot of promising ideas, and we investors believe in it, but the good project needs a good marketing plan. So is there any clear steps regarding that point?
Like I said, like I answered the question before, we don't have any plan of marketing yet. I mean, it's something we can consider in the future. It's not something we're doing right now. If the community has any ideas of which steps, which direction we can take, we're definitely all ears open.
Yeah, we are always open to advice and suggestions. This is a community project, so your voices do matter. If you guys have, any input on the operations in IYF, you can get in contact with myself or George. George is very busy with development. I'm quite a bit more available, but you can, get in touch with me with that information. You can pass it on with George. I think every viable suggestion that's been given to me and George at this point has been discussed in some way, shape, or form over the last week. All right, moving on. Rise and Shine asks, can you give us a date on the white paper and roadmap instead of soon? I can handle this one. As of right now, the white paper is finished in a very basic format. It is finished, but it is a rough draft. We are working on finishing that. The roadmap as well is in a rough draft format. I'm working on that myself, and we are just hashing out quite a bit of details to make sure that the roadmap is as accurate as possible. As well with the white paper, even though it is finished, there is a lot of information on there that is a bit generic that we want to tailor a bit more to where the average Joe can read it and understand what we're doing. So that does take time. It will be probably within a couple of days for the white paper. The roadmap may be a little bit longer than that. George, do you want to add on that, or did I kind of cover that?
You got it perfectly.
Right.
Yeah, the white paper is pretty much done. We just have to insert some more information and make it prettier for people to consume.
Yeah, it's a bit rough around the edges. So RGT, our wonderful IYF moderator, asks, will the new token be farmable with IYF? Also, will there be a governance panel planned?
Now, if we fork SushiSwap or Uniswap, and we do something similar to what they're doing, it will be farmable with IYF, and we'll have multiple pools to farm. It's not something that's even been worked on yet, but it's a consideration. And as I said before, we're a yield farming project, and we can't really yield farm on a project or on a token that has 22,000 supply. It's just not viable in any way. So yes, the new token will be farmable with IYF if we decide to make one. It'll be community decided if we even decide to make one.
All right.
And I need to answer another question here. That's very, very important. So there will be a governance panel planned. We've done a few votes over straw poll, and it's completely terrible. It can be manipulated. We're implementing a voting system where you vote with IYF, not with IYF, but the amount of IYF you have determines your voting power, and then you can place votes on the blockchain in a decentralized way that can't be interfered by any party.
We hope that'll calm down a lot of the groupthink behind our past votes and have people take a step back and really think about what's the best future for the coin or the token, for the token and for the project rather than what's the best choice right now so I can maximize my short-term return. Now, Rise and Shine, as are you even doing it the same way? How will you want to be different in the future besides farming? I believe he's referencing YFRB and how we want to be different in the future from YFRB.
I mean, YFRB has not implemented their arbitrage system yet, so I can't make any say on if we're doing it the same way. All I can say is that we're working on it every day and we're trying to get it out as soon as possible, sometime in the next month, preferably. Everything is done except we need to get a polished UI because it's right now it's just contracts and it doesn't look very pretty. We've had a lot of problems with farming and people haven't been able to claim, and it's kind of not looked very good. We want to alleviate all the stress on launch day.
There is some things that are being discussed between myself and George that have been brought up. We are I'm currently negotiating personally with a couple of other projects. There's a lot of different directions that we can take this in, just besides arbitrage and farming. Just as a general IYF being a general launching platform. So there's a lot of things being talked about right now. There's a lot of ideas flying around. So as far as how we're going to be different in the future, I feel pretty confident that you'll be able to distinguish us very easily from YFRB.
But one thing that's important to note is if we do make a secondary token, that will only be for farming purposes, etc. IYF, the main IYF token with the supply it has now, will always be the token that's dedicated to the arbitrage platform.
Cash Dynasty asks, can you explain the arbitrage concept?
Okay, so I think I covered it before, but basically there's flash loans. Aave and DaiDX both have them, and it basically allows you to trade and perform actions without using your funds. So DaiDX doesn't have a fee. Aave has a fee of about 0.09%. Now, we're not going to be taking any fees on the arbitrage platform. And our platform, we're trying to make it the prettiest way possible to do flash loans. It's very complicated for beginners, and we want to get rid of all of that stress, like I said before. So normal people can get into arbitrage and normal people can get into flash loans.
Very nice. Now, the last question that I have here is from Rise and Shine. It seems very similar to the last few that we've answered, but we'll cover it anyways. How will the implementation of arbitrage work? What is the business idea and the benefit for the user? What will bring value to IYF for the investor to hold long term?
It's very subjective for me to say what will bring IYF value because, I can't predict the future. But like I said, we're going to work very hard on the arbitrage platform. And aside from that, we want to center our focus on yield farming in particular.
As far as value for the investor, it really comes down to what your personal goals are. Every investor has a different personal goal for their investment. So it's one of those things where you have to look at IYF and decide, is this something that I feel is going in a really good long-term direction? Does the team seem like they have a vision and that they have a goal that they're going to reach? Does this seem like a good long-term hold? Or is this going to be a hurricane thunderclap that I'll be able to cash out on really quickly? In my opinion, if I was to give my opinion, this project is a long-term hold. This is something that is growing and is going to continue to grow. I know George is very dedicated to the development of this project. There is other individuals that have reached out to us that are also very interested in getting involved, that are very talented. Some of them are even actually sitting in this voice chat right now that I've talked with. So, you know, as far as what the value of IYF is a determination that you have to make yourself.
Exactly.
Another question from Itachi. Why the name IYF? This is all you.
So, I mean, I yield farm, IYF. It's a cool name. There's YFI, which is year in finance. And I didn't think IYF was taken yet, so why not IYF? I think it's a pretty good name.
It's probably the most slacker comment answer I've ever heard.
But it's true.
It is. It is.
I like the name. Does anybody else here like the name?
I'm not sure if I can pronounce your name properly, but I'm going to try my best. Viat Minato asked, When will we have a new logo?"
We've been reviewing a few logos and we haven't decided yet which one we want to pick. The original logo, and not a lot of people agree with it. It's very lazy, but we want to pick one that everyone agrees on, and we'll probably do a vote on the logo as well.
It looks like a recycling
community-based
symbol.
project. Exactly. It is a recycling symbol. Correct.
It really is. Our future logo, we would like it to represent the vision and the direction of IYF and represent what we're trying to accomplish and what we're going to do in the future. I think that our logo should be something that you can look at and understand, or at least get a general understanding of what exactly we do here. I know there are some very talented people here that have submitted some logos that I've personally seen. If you as well are a talented individual and think you could design a logo that we may be interested in, I am always interested in looking at what you have and bringing it up to a vote, or bringing it between George and I, and making a decision on it. Now, next question is from Oblock412. Why the random removals of liquidity every once in a while?
Okay, which liquidity are you referring to? Because all of our liquidity in Uniswap is currently locked in Unicrypt, and it can't be removed until after New Year's. So are you talking about the balancer liquidity?
I'm assuming he's suggesting on the balancer liquidity.
Well, everybody's removed balancer liquidity now because farming is over in that pool. I personally haven't removed any liquidity. If you could reference what you're talking about on Etherscan, I'll address it.
Yeah, as far as liquidity goes, that's a very, that number is very hard to gauge just based off of farming operations.
Yeah, if you can reference what you're talking about on Etherscan, I'll give you an answer right away.
Rise and Shine asks, do you maybe have a great announcement for us? George?
I mean, maybe in the future.
Yeah, right now we're working hard on white paper, listing, back end development. Everything is in a stage of being built right now. I think that in the past week we've had a lot of news and a lot of information that we have pumped out and a lot of announcements. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more in the future as we start to gain more momentum. But as of right now, everything is in a period of either being finished in final development, ready to be released, or in a period of pre-development or kind of halfway through.
Correct. And to answer RGT's question he just asked, a stablecoin is definitely something we're looking at, and we think it'll bring a lot of value to the table. We want IYF to not just be one token, but be a whole category of products that you can use.
Rise and Shine asked, is Unipool still a thing? It is very much still a thing.
It is a thing, but it probably won't be integrated on the current token.
I think we're waiting for more questions to kind of pop up here. I see a few people typing at the moment.
But like I said, if anybody has any better ideas of what to do with pools, we are a community pool. So we are a community project, my bad. We will take a vote and we will address any concerns that anyone has regarding pools or farming.
Do you have
Because we
another
want
question?
this to be fair to everyone.
I got another question here from Cash Dynasty. This one I've been getting asked a little bit. If the tokens were designated for the balance, if the tokens designated for the balance pool were up, how many people were still getting rewards? Was there a programming issue?
There wasn't a programming issue. I mean, I guess you could call it that, but we basically designed IYF farming to emit more than Yearn Finance does. And since that happened, we essentially ran out of IYF to issue. Now, there's a few ways this could have been addressed. We could have just added the entire supply of 8,000 IYF to the BPT rewards contract, but I don't think a lot of people agreed with that decision and they just wanted a burn. So we made a community vote and we decided burn it all.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, that should have never happened. The math should have been done properly. And because of the fact that we emit more than Yearn Finance did, it created a pretty big problem with claiming. And we're still trying to address that right now. If you have any problem with claiming, message me or Bearded Justice and we'll get it taken care of.
Yep. I have a current list of public wallet addresses and IYF balances that I am adding to every day from farmers that were not able to claim. We did have a deadline on unstaking. I believe all of that is posted everywhere. If you did not unstake by our deadline, unfortunately, we will not be able to reimburse you. If you did unstake before the deadline, then reimbursements will be working that out here before the 2nd of October.
Correct. And to answer Oblock's question, that liquidity that was added was not from us. So anybody can add liquidity to Uniswap, and someone just decided to add liquidity and then remove it. That has nothing to do with our team. This is somebody in the community.
Yeah, we don't hold or control.
All the liquidity that we added has already been locked in Unicrypt.
Got another question from Oblock, I believe, coming up here. He did give a TX here. Was that what you just answered? Was that TX he just posted?
Yes, that was the question.
Okay, got that. I think if anybody else has questions, we'd be happy to answer them. We'll give you a couple of minutes to post your questions. If not, I think we will wrap it up.
No problem. We're always here. We're probably going to start doing calls, maybe not once a week, but we're going to schedule them and do these calls pretty frequently so the community's actually engaged and the community's not like dormant, you could say.
Yeah.
We're going to keep updating the platform and bring you a very good product.
Yeah, that's our main goal here is to provide a product that actually works. And so far, nobody's been able to deliver that, at least in the vision that we have. So that's our main goal, is to have a product that actually works, that's user intuitive, that even people that aren't well versed in DeFi or
there's a lot of quote unquote projects that don't even have a product but are promising one. We're trying to actually deliver a product, even if it's not polished, as soon as possible.
All right. PW926 asks, with how many people are you working on the arbitrage project?
Right now it's just me, but I'm always looking for developers that have experience in Solidity and Web3 to help on that project.
Yeah, and if any of you do have experience in Web3, get in contact with George or myself. We'd love to sit down and talk with you. So I think that wraps it up. Um, Itachi, what we're going to be doing with this AMA here is I'm actually going to be posting this on our YouTube channel, which will be spread on Twitter and as well will be posted in the Telegram. So people that do miss the AMA here will be able to listen in and understand what we're doing and keep updated regularly with future developments in IYF.
We actually had. I asked them if we should do the AMA on Telegram, but we just haven't really decided that yet.
I think giving the voice aspect would make it very difficult to have an AMA on Telegram as well with the
It could
amount of
just be a
users.
text though, like a Reddit Ask Me Anything.
Well, we could do an actual Reddit AMA too
True.
on Reddit. That's something we could talk about later. So I think that wraps up the AMA for today. I am very, very excited. A lot of great questions today. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to sit down with us and share your thoughts and concerns and your support.
Thank you.
All
We're
right.
gonna make this community something awesome.